Alright, what's up guys? So today we're going to be going over Acheron, her kit, her light cone, and then potential builds, like building stuff and like for relics, and we'll also be going over like potential team comps for her. So let's just get right into the kit. So obviously we will take a shout out to admire her splash art and her light cone, both being fantastic, as they should be. So we'll just start off with her basic. So her trilateral wilt cross deals lightning damage equal to 100% of Acheron's attack. Pretty standard. They did nerf this in the sense that it does not deal or gain, she does not gain a slash dream stack, which is unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. So there's her skill Octobolt Flash. I see what you did there. Good dodge. So she gains 1 point of slash dream and inflicts 1 stack of crimson knot onto a single enemy and then does blast damage to the rest. So this also got nerfed because she used to gain 2 stacks. But before we go into the ultimate, we're gonna go into her talent real quick because that's where it explains these slashed dreams and just how her kit functions, because she's very different. So when it reaches 9 points, the ultimate can be unleashed because she cannot gain energy like a traditional unit, which is really cool. I like that already. Very unique. So during the ultimate, deplete the enemy's toughness regardless of weakness types and reduce all enemies all type res by 20% until the end of the ultimate, which is really crazy because that means she just gets an inherent damage boost to her ultimate. So when any unit inflicts a debuff on an enemy target while using an ability, she gains 1 stack or 1 point of slash dream and inflicts crimson knot. This effect can be triggered up to 1 time per action. Unfortunate, but I get it. If the used ability inflicts a debuff on multiple enemies, 1 stack crimson knot will be inflicted on the enemy with the most crimson knot stacks. Okay, that's fair. Not a bouncer, just a smidgen. So when she's on the battlefield and after an enemy target leaves the battlefield or is defeated, their crimson knot stack will be transferred to the enemy target with the most current crimson knot stack. So they don't go away, which is nice. Which is good for her ultimate. Slashed Dream cries in red. Very edgy. I love it. So she unleashes Rainblade, deals lightning damage equal to 24% of her attack, which is all based on like level 10, and removes up to 3 stacks of crimson knot from the target. When crimson knot is removed, it deals lightning damage equal to 15% of Acheron's attack to all enemies 1 time, with the multiplier for this attack additionally increased by 15% for every stack of crimson knot removed. That's crazy. Like, actually really strong. So after unleashing Rainblade 3 times, immediately unleashes Stygian Resurge, dealing lightning damage equal to 120% of Acheron's attack to all enemies, removing all crimson knot stacks. And then she can inflict crimson knot during the ultimate, which is fine, which is like, you know, obvious. I feel like that's just a given. But it's just the fact that she does so many attacks, and on top of like this final attack, she's just crazy. She's insane. I'm so excited to give her my money. So her technique, Quadrivalent Ascendance. So she attacks the enemy, gains 2 points of slash dreams, and deals lightning damage equal to 80% of her attack to all enemies while inflicting 2 stacks of crimson knot to a single random enemy. If an enemy has red karma, they will immediately be defeated and will not enter combat. And then the technique point is not spent if the attack does not hit an enemy. Okay, that's fair. What is red karma? I don't really know, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. So for her bonus abilities, you got these are her ascension traces. So you got number 1, Thunder Core. When Rainblade from Acheron's ultimate hits an enemy with crimson knot, her damage is increased by 30%. So on top of all this, it gets a damage buff on top of that. Absolutely wild. Stacking up to a maximum of 3 stacks for 3 turns. So she just gets a damage buff for 3 turns, which by then you'll probably be ulting again. if you built her team right. So she additionally deals 6 hits of damage when Stygian Resurge is triggered. Every hit dealing lightning damage equal to 25% of her attack to a single enemy target and viewed as ultimate damage. That is wild, actually insane. So then her second ascension trace, her A4, is the Abyss. When there are 1 or 2 characters of the following the path of nihility in the team, increases the damage of Acheron's basic attack, skill, and ultimate by 100 or to 115 or 160% respectively of the original damage. That is insane. So one of them you get like a over 50% increase in damage. That's insane. And then at the start of battle, immediately gains 4 points of slash dreams and applies 4 stacks of crimson knot to the enemy. So between her red ogre and her technique, she will start out with 6 stacks of slash dreams. So then you're almost there, because it's 9, I believe, right? Yeah, 9. So you're 2/3 of the way there. And then, so that's really awesome for like MOC and stuff. So stat bonus, she gets attack percent, crit damage, lightning damage boost as well. So she is basically a hunt character or a destruction character in Nihility, which is awesome. And this is why Nihility is the best path in the game, obviously. And then we'll go over our Eidolons. Or E1, Silence Sky Spake Sooth. That's a tongue twister right there. Crit rate increased by 18% when dealing damage to debuffed enemies. So this will just, best case scenario, this will always be active. Thunder is still Tempest, or in still Tempest, so the number of characters on the path of nihility required for the highest value of the trace the Abyss is reduced by 1. And then at the beginning of her turn, she gains 1 point of slash dreams. So she'll get 7 starting out at the beginning of like her first turn, which is insane, and inflicts 1 stack of crimson knot to an enemy with the most crimson knot stacks. So this is basically the Raiden staple Eidolon, because from my understanding, C2 Raiden is cracked. That's her best Eidolon. And then we'll skip 3 and 5 because they're just like your level up ones, which are good, don't get it twisted, but they don't really affect her gameplay. When using the ultimate, inflicts ultimate damage vulnerability to all enemies, increase the ultimate damage taken by 12%, lasting for 2 turns. That is insane because it's for everyone. This affects the entire party. Really freaking cool. And then her E6. One of the coolest E6s in the game, in my opinion. Increases ultimate damage, or ultimate's crit damage by 60%. And the damage from her basic attacks and skills are also considered ultimate damage. That's fucking wild. Actually crazy. This is why she's the first character I will be wailing on, which check out my streams for that. When she comes out, I will be wailing for her to get her E6 S1. Hopefully we'll see. And then these are her recommended damage boosts. Luckily, they took the hard part, like one of the harder parts out for me by doing this. I didn't know she was gonna have so much crit damage built into her kit. So I farmed out a crit damage, but that's fine. We can just use it like one of those resins to make a crit rate piece if we need to. But I think this is her best relic, like her best in slot right here, absolutely without a doubt. And then the Izumo Gensei relic is gonna be absolutely insane, because it'll just give her an attack increase and then her crit rate, because she does need help in that department. And then Inert Cell Soto actually works really well too. I was debating on this one for her because it increases the follow-up or the ultimate damage and it gives crit rate, which is very awesome. Then Sizzling Thunder is like a good substitute if you have good pieces. I think if you don't have good pieces for Pioneer or Dead Waters, I think then you just go Sizzling Thunder. Or if you have to, go 2-2, but I think 4-piece Dead Waters is best in slot. Musketeer, this is always just going to be there. I don't think it's very good for her personally. because you don't want to use her basic attack if you can avoid it. And then next we'll go over her light cone, which is Smekshi as heck. Along the passing shore, increases the wearer's crit damage by 36%, which is wild. Again, more crit damage. I kind of wish it would have been crit rate, but I get why they're like going hard into crit damage. And then when they hit an enemy target, there's a 100% base chance of inflicting empty bubbles to the enemy. So she can inflict her own debuff with this light cone. Lasting for a turn, this effect can be triggered one time against each target for every attack the wearer launches. The wearer deals 24% more damage to targets afflicted with empty bubbles, and damage from ultimate additionally increases by 24%. So she gets a higher crit damage and then just increases her ultimate damage. Those are like the most generic parts, and then like she gets a damage boost for empty bubbles. Really fucking awesome. All right, I forgot to talk about alternative light cones to her signature light cone. So we're gonna start off with some 5 stars. Patience is all you need because it increases damage dealt, speed, and applies a debuff on its own, allowing you to get those debuff procs on all turns. Patience is all, or in the name of the world is a great one because it increases damage dealt to debuff enemies, which is, you know, what she's going to be doing primarily. And increases effect hit rate and attack, which you're not really worried about the effect hit rate, but you do appreciate the attack. Solitary healing, I would consider it just to be a stat stick because it doesn't really do anything for her aside from the break effect, because she doesn't care about dots. Good night, sleep well is, I think, her best 4-star light cone option, because while it doesn't apply a debuff, it does increase her damage dealt for debuffs applied. But Pearls of Sweat is going to be your alternative because it does apply a debuff, or you can apply a debuff with it. That as well. We will meet again. I think this one is more of a cheeky one, not necessarily great, but it allows her to deal an additional instance of damage. So that's pretty cute. It's Showtime is another free-to-play option. I don't really necessarily think this one's very good per se, but it is free, you know, so you got to give it some credit. And then your other free-to-play options is Hidden Shadow, because increases damage, or it deals additional damage. So again, it's just kind of like a easy a free-to-play We Will Meet Again. Those are your free star, your light cone options, alternatives to her signature light cone. Obviously, her signature is best in slot, so let's just slide this into the video. All right, so now for Acheron's teams, I think Hyper Carry is going to be the way to go. Now, I'm going to be talking from the aspect of having her E2 because I think that's where she's best, at minimum, but we can quick go over her E0. So for E0, you're gonna have to run 2 other Nihility units. So I think I don't have Silver Wolf, so what I would recommend is Pella and Welt if you have him, or if you don't have him, you could go Pella Gwynaifen for 4 stars. It's free to play friendly just because you can get her from the selector, or if you wanted to, you could run Anya, but like I said, if you're running her E0, you have to run 2 Nihility units, no ifs, ands, or buts. Otherwise, you're just not getting the full amount of damage from her. Plus, these 2 can apply debuffs really easily, especially like with Gwynaifen, she can apply 2. And then Pella with Pearls of Sweat can inflict a debuff as well, plus her ultimate. Yeah, Gwynaifen is really cracked because she can apply 2 debuffs, and like the Fire Kiss is applied on the opponent's turn. So if I'm theorizing correctly, that would apply a second stack of the Slashed Dreams. So that would be a good option for her. But I don't have Silver Wolf, otherwise I would recommend Silver Wolf. You could run Welt as well, but I find but I find Pella more SP efficient. And then Fushuen, you could run Gallagher when he comes out because his ultimate gives a debuff, so he would synergize a little better with her. So there is that you could always look forward to. Otherwise, you could run basically any solo sustain. I think this is like a dual DPS at minimum team, so you could run May if you have her and not Bronya. Sparkle you could run as well. If you have her at E2, you can run a Harmony unit. Other than that, I think you have to run 2 ability units alongside her. But that's what I think for team comps. I think if you didn't, like I said, if you have her at E2, you could run Welt. Black Swan is pretty nice, but I think Welt would just be a little better personally. Gwydifen, Sampo would be decent because he is good outside of dot, but that's where he excels in my opinion. Sampo is there, he exists. I think only is best in dot, but he's playable without outside of dot, but I think his skill just isn't very effective with her in the fact that it only applies once. But yeah, so I think Fushuen is really good for like a 5-star because she boosts crit rate, and she really needs a crap ton of crit rate. So getting it from her is, you know, really easy or really nice and convenient because it's passive and always there. And she's a phenomenal goated sustainer, arguably the best in game if you don't count Hua Hua. But I think she just, in terms of sustainability, she does it better. Completely different topic though, by the way. We're not gonna get into that. I think, yeah, so I think E0, this is probably your best team. And then if you have like Silver Wolf or Welt or Black Swan, you could put those in there instead. But for free to play, this is your best like option. And then you could, like, free to play, you could do Natasha or Gallagher or Lynx. But I think if you had to choose between those 3, Gallagher would be the better one just because he does apply a debuff. Yeah, so I think this is gonna be the team I'm rocking with her because my other team is gonna be Dot, so I have Ruan Mei on that team. Otherwise, this is the team I'm gonna be running. I'm gonna be trying out Welt instead of Pella as well, just to kind of see how he vibes. But Pella is skill point efficient, so that's where I kind of want to keep her in there. But we'll see. But with that, this is gonna be the end of the video. If you guys want to check out the streams for Star Rail content or streams, otherwise like Persona 3 Reload, fighting games, all that nonsense, link is in the description. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.